Deep within the annals of paranormal history, one chilling tale stands as a testament to the sinister forces that can infest a seemingly innocent dwelling. This is the haunting of the Amityville House, a true horror story that sends shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. Nestled in the idyllic town of Amityville, New York, the house at 112 Ocean Avenue hides a dark secret. It was here, in the winter of 1974, that the Lutz family moved into their dream home, unaware of the malevolent presence that awaited them. From the moment they crossed the threshold, their lives would be forever changed, as the house became a portal to a realm of unrelenting terror. The haunting began slowly, with eerie whispers that echoed through the halls and the inexplicable feeling of being watched. Doors slammed shut, objects moved of their own accord, and the stench of decay permeated the air. But as the days turned into nights, the supernatural phenomena escalated, revealing a disturbing entity lurking within the shadows. The spirit that infested the Amityville house was a relentless tormentor, a malevolent entity that thrived on the terror it inflicted upon its inhabitants. It reveled in their fear, drawing strength from their anguish and despair. As the days turned into nights, the dark force within the house grew bolder, manifesting in terrifying ways. Shadows slithered along the walls, taking on grotesque forms that defied logic and reason. These sinister apparitions seemed to have a life of their own, moving with an otherworldly grace, their ethereal presence suffused with an air of palpable menace. Whispers, like venomous serpents, slithered through the air, their words dripping with malice and hatred. The voices, a cacophony of torment, echoed from the hidden corners of the house, their sinister messages etching deep into the psyche of the family. Each word was a macabre taunt, a reminder of their helplessness in the face of an unseen and unforgiving foe. But it was the demonic faces that haunted their nightmares, twisted visages contorted into macabre grins. These grotesque countenances appeared on the walls, in the reflections of mirrors, and even within the family's own dreams. They stared with fiery, malevolent eyes, piercing the very soul of those unfortunate enough to cross their path. The house itself seemed alive, pulsating with an evil energy that infected every nook and cranny. It creaked and groaned, its walls seemingly whispering secrets that only the damned could decipher. Its corridors twisted and turned, creating a labyrinthine maze where the family's torment played out. The air grew thick with a noxious presence, a putrid stench of decay that seemed to seep from the very pores of the house's structure. With each passing day, the presence within the Amityville house grew stronger, its malevolence palpable. It relished in the suffering it caused, knowing that it held the family captive in its grip of terror. No sanctuary could be found within those walls, as the evil presence pervaded every inch of the once beloved home, twisting it into a nightmarish realm of torment. As the darkness settled over the house, an unseen force awakened, unleashing a torrent of paranormal activity upon the unsuspecting family. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to mock the very essence of reality. Eerie whispers echoed through the halls, whispering secrets of darkness and despair into the ears of the Lutz family. But it was the children who bore the brunt of the supernatural onslaught. Their nights were plagued by vivid and disturbing nightmares that racked their young minds with visions of violence and unspeakable horror. They would awaken in cold sweats, their hearts racing, as the boundary between dream and reality blurred within the confines of the haunted house. Time itself seemed to warp within the malevolent embrace of the Amityville house. Minutes stretched into agonizing hours, and hours dissolved into an eternity of dread. The hands of the clock moved with an eerie slowness, as if caught in the grip of an unseen force, taunting the family with the notion that escape from this living nightmare was impossible. The very air within the house thickened with a palpable sense of malevolence. A sense of suffocating dread settled upon the Lutz family, weighing heavily on their souls as they navigated the twisted corridors and dimly lit rooms. Each step felt like a descent into the abyss, the walls seemingly closing in with each passing moment, amplifying the feeling of claustrophobic terror. The Lutz family's nights became a battle for survival, a constant struggle against an invisible foe. Their every breath was tainted with fear, their every waking moment plagued by the anticipation of the next supernatural assault. The Amityville house had become a prison of the mind and soul, a place where the boundaries of reality and nightmare merged into a never-ending tapestry of terror. In the face of such relentless horror, the Lutz family found themselves trapped in a sinister dance with the unknown, clinging to each other for solace and protection. Their resilience was tested, their sanity pushed to the brink as they confronted the unimaginable within the walls of the Amityville house. As the hauntings escalated, the family's desperate attempts to escape were thwarted. Doors mysteriously locked, trapping them inside, while unseen forces pushed and pulled at their bodies. Their sanity began to unravel, and the once warm and inviting home transformed into a house of horrors, where evil thrived and consumed everything in its path. The very walls seemed to conspire against their escape, as doors mysteriously locked themselves, trapping the family inside their own living nightmare. No matter how forcefully they pushed and pulled, the barriers held firm, denying them the freedom they so desperately sought. Each locked door became a sinister reminder that they were not alone, that an unseen force held dominion over their lives. Unseen hands, guided by a malevolent presence, pushed and pulled at the bodies of the family members, their desperate struggles met with resistance as if some invisible force reveled in their torment. It was as if the house itself had come alive, a twisted entity with a sinister agenda to keep its victims within its clutches, to torment and consume their very souls. As the days turned into nights, the once warm and inviting home transformed into a house of horrors, its walls oozing with a palpable malevolence. Shadows danced and wreathed along the hallways, their dark forms mocking the desperate pleas for release. The air grew heavy with a suffocating sense of dread, as if evil had seeped into every nook and cranny, infiltrating the very essence of the house. In the end, the Lutz family found themselves trapped within the suffocating grip of the Amityville house, their once vibrant spirits reduced to mere fragments of their former selves. The relentless onslaught of supernatural terror had shattered their minds and fractured their souls, leaving behind only hollow vessels of despair. Day by day, the haunting had taken its toll. The weight of the malevolent presence that pervaded every inch of the house pressed down upon them, eroding their sanity with every passing moment. Shadows slithered along the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that whispered wicked secrets to their vulnerable minds. The very air they breathed was tainted with a sense of foreboding, as if unseen eyes watched their every move. The house itself seemed to pulse with a sinister energy, its walls oozing with a thick, viscous darkness that devoured any glimmer of hope that dared to flicker within its depths. Sleep became a treacherous journey into the unknown, as nightmares of unspeakable horror invaded their restless minds. Dreams turned into twisted manifestations of their deepest fears, as spectral figures danced in their sleep, their skeletal fingers tracing icy trails along the family's trembling skin. The line between waking and slumber blurred, leaving them in a perpetual state of fear and disorientation. The once warm and inviting rooms transformed into chambers of torment, each corner hiding unseen terrors that sent shivers down their spines. Objects moved of their own accord, crashing and shattering with violent intent. Muffled whispers filled the air, their voices dripping with malice, taunting the family with their wicked promises of pain and suffering. As days turned into weeks, the family's resilience crumbled under the weight of the unrelenting presence. Their once strong bonds strained and splintered, as paranoia gnawed at their minds and suspicion poisoned their thoughts. They became prisoners of their own home, trapped in a web of dread and despair, unable to escape the clutches of the malevolence that held them captive. Their very identities faded, replaced by the shadows that lurked within the house's corridors. Laughter turned to haunting echoes of anguish, and joy transformed into bitter tears of anguish. Their spirits withered, drained of life by the unyielding forces of evil that had claimed the Amityville house as their own. In the end, the Lutz family's harrowing ordeal inside the Amityville house reached a tipping point. The unrelenting onslaught of supernatural terror had taken its toll, both physically and mentally. The family's spirits were shattered, their once hopeful hearts consumed by a profound sense of dread and despair. Realizing that escape from the clutches of the house seemed impossible, the Lutz family made the difficult decision to abandon their beloved home, leaving behind the remnants of their shattered lives. They sought solace and refuge elsewhere, hoping to find a semblance of normalcy and peace away from the malevolent presence that had plagued them. The events that unfolded within the Amityville house left an indelible mark on the Lutz family. The trauma they endured haunted them long after they left, leaving them forever changed. The experience cast a shadow over their lives, as nightmares and psychological scars lingered, a constant reminder of the horrors they had witnessed. News of the Amityville hauntings spread like wildfire, capturing the attention of the world. Investigators and skeptics alike were drawn to the house, seeking answers to the inexplicable. The Amityville house became a symbol of supernatural terror, forever etched into the fabric of paranormal folklore. To this day, the true nature of the haunting remains a mystery. Some believe it was a manifestation of past tragedies that stained the house's history, while others speculate that it was a gateway to the very depths of hell itself. The Amityville house stands as a chilling reminder that evil can take root in the most unsuspecting places, a reminder that some horrors defy explanation and continue to haunt us in the shadows of our collective consciousness. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more scary myths and legends, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more. I'll see you on our next spooky adventure.